go time.
The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Florida Man Sports.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year
Let's
show
go.
here, even though it's January 2nd. By the time this show comes on, it'll be January 3rd still. Happy New Year. We took a week off for Christmas. We just missed New Year's. We sobered up just a little bit, got ready for you guys here. But we're coming up on the final week to the NFL, so we couldn't miss another week. We needed to go ahead and make our picks. The week that you guys missed, of course, I go 13-3, but Chris doesn't reference it, doesn't even talk about it. He just wants to remind you when he has a good week.
Right.
But it's okay. So it's our final week, Chris, to go ahead and get this thing right. So I don't know how you feel.
Before we get started, Johnny
Okay.
Cinco, I want to remind everybody that we are streaming on all major platforms. So please like, share, and subscribe. Can't do this without you. You may see some stuff that happens in the background this episode. If you do, just don't worry about it. We have a new studio that's coming through our producers. So I apologize for what happens in the background. I'm jumping ahead of it if anything happens.
No, it's the truth. We have our email. I'm going to try to put down there. Guys, can you donate to Florida Man Sports to help rebuild the studio?
The donations have been pouring in, and we thank you.
Oh,
but we need more for the other stuff that is important to the studio.
Yes, and Bitcoin will work too, so it works out too. So, Chris, you're doing dry January, right?
I am doing. Why are we sharing with people that?
Because I'm saying, they can see why is Johnny the only one drinking, and you're not drinking. Why are you not drinking?
Listen, I made a commitment to do dry January, and now what you don't know is that my dry January ends on the 5th, so that's nobody's business. But that's neither here nor there, folks. Okay. Lord Man Sport, the last week, Johnny. Next season, I promise, before we go over these picks and predictions, I promise that we're going to do an overall tally because I feel, Cinco, that we are probably better than ESPN. There's a couple of sites on X that I know we're better as far as our win percentage. I think we did pretty darn good this year.
I think ESPN, I read something to where they were talking about how they've had their best, I guess record percentage-wise, and they were like at 54, 58%.
I feel like we're like in the 70, 80 percentile, and I'm not joking, folks.
We are there. The thing is that we don't condone gambling, but we're going to have to next season throw in the point spreads and do something else for you degenerate gamblers out there, because we just bet straight up like, hey, this is who's winning, who's losing, and more often than not, we are correct.
Well, let's rock and roll. A lot to go over in the last week before the playoffs start. Kind of like I'm happy, sad because the season's over and I know we get to playoffs. Mm-hmm. Jump into the Florida team, Cinco. You've got the Jaguars and the Colts. This game does not have playoff implications, but it does have NFL draft implications, if you will. The Colts are at home. Who do you got in this one?
I mean, at the end of the show, or at some point during the show, we're going to go over the divisions and
I'm going to trickle
how we're this game. We didn't see the Jags or the Colts really doing something. We thought the Colts would be better than what they've been, but we didn't expect much from Richardson. We didn't expect much from Trevor Lawrence. We didn't expect from the Jags. So this team is just two terrible teams going at it. So with these two bad teams, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it to the Colts. Colts are just slightly better. Maybe you can argue that Peterson is going to fight. This is obviously his last game coaching the Jaguars. Is he going to go ahead and want to go ahead? But he lost the team a long time ago. So Colts are winning this game.
I'm going to go out on a limb right now, and I'm going to call it. This is the week before the last, or not the week really, the couple days before the last games of the season. Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, will be the Jaguars coach.
You think so?
I believe so. And I'm going to go out on a limb now. So with that being said, to your point, the Colts being at home, I'm going to take the Colts to win as well so that Ben Johnson gets a better first-round pick. The Jaguars are going to be 4-13 after this one. And I'm going to go on the record. I'm going to go a little longer with the Florida teams here because it is Florida Man Sports.
It's fine.
Okay. And I'm going to just go on another step here. Trevor Lawrence's job is not necessarily guaranteed next year with a new coach. The new coach, the way I see it, they're going to have two options. One, they get a free year with him if they want, or they're going to cut ties with him now, and they're going to move on and pick a quarterback in the draft. There's been a handful of teams now that have signed, like look at Daniel Jones, signed to that contract, and they cut him just as easy.
That Daniel Jones contract is not the same contract with Trevor Lawrence.
So
the Trevor Lawrence contract doesn't even kick in until next season. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like he got the sign-in bonus.
Right.
There's so much money tied up in Trevor Lawrence. That dude isn't going anywhere.
I can name other contracts that way, though, Johnny. Look at Kirk Cousins' contract, right?
It's not the
teams
same.
Teams are showing that they're okay with paying negative money the following year. That's all I'm saying.
Yes,
teams
1 year.
They're okay with it.
So Kirk Cousins, or even your reference here with the Giants quarterback, those are essentially 2-year deals. They knew Kirk Cousins coming in towards a $100 million deal. It's a 4-year contract, but really 2 years of guaranteed money. And same thing with Daniel Jones, 2 years guaranteed money. And they'll eat a little bit of money. With Kirk, they didn't think it would be so soon. They thought, okay, you're going to give me 2 years. They end up actually eating big money 1 year, but it's just 1 year. They're not going to do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence.
Bottom line, the coach, whoever he's going to be, again, I'm going to stick with Ben Johnson, is going to have the opportunity to rent him for a year at no questions asked. He won't be seen as bad if it doesn't work out. But my belief is the way that they've been turning quarterbacks over in the league, that they're probably going to draft a quarterback. I'm just going to go out there and say it.
I mean, trying to think like who's out there. Obviously, Belichick's going back to college. I thought for sure it was something on that, but these coaches are a bunch of fools. I mean, you have a couple of different players. The Jets need a coach. The Jaguars need a coach. There's a lot of teams that need coach, but we'll get into the carousel. Who we think
as the season goes over. Any last words for the Jags as we put because they're not making the playoffs. So any last words?
We knew that you were being terrible, so thank you for not disappointing.
Let's move on to the other Florida team that is not in the playoffs. Another game, Johnny, where both teams are playing for playoff picks. The Dolphins and the Jets. The Jets are at home. Who's taking this one?
The Dolphins, they don't have like a 1% chance. I have something.
No. The money line says -1 Miami wins.
No, I know I'm talking about playoff implications. So they need like 8 teams to lose.
I'll clear it up for you.
But,
they have to win. Cincinnati has to lose, and Denver has to lose.
Okay, so they got a shot. So, but at the end of the day, between the Jets and the Miami Dolphins, now Tua is probably not going to play. You got Hunter Henley or whatever his name is, the backup there. He's going to go ahead and take over. That being said, I still have more confidence in them than the Jets. The Jets are terrible. Aaron Rodgers could be his very last game. I don't see him coming back to the Jets. Very likely he's not coming back anywhere. Who the heck is going to go? This guy in his head is going to think he's worth $40+ million, and he's not. He's going to have to humble himself. It's not something that Aaron Rodgers does. He has no idea how to do that. This may be his very last game. So I can see people put the argument, it's his last game, he's going to win. Jets are trash. They're going to lose.
No, I've got, to your point, Johnny, I've got the Dolphins winning this game because technically speaking, and I'm sorry that I was so rough with the Dolphins here, but technically speaking, they do have a chance of making the playoffs. I just have other teams winning, which means they're not going to be in the playoffs. So I'm kind of jumping the gun there.
Okay.
But let's be real. I've got the Dolphins winning. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I'll go a little further.
It's
Denver.
unlikely.
Yeah, Denver's going to win, and we'll go over that here in a little bit.
So
but,
Denver, Cincinnati, and
Miami, which I can't believe that Cincinnati's still there. Again, I'm jumping the gun.
Honestly,
I'm jumping the gun.
I want Cincinnati in there.
Yeah.
You deserve it. My God, there's a good team. How dangerous that Cincinnati team can be. No defense, but they got the Super Bowl before, no defense before. So
based on my prediction, again, Florida Man Sports streaming on all platforms, we both picked the Dolphins, but based on my predictions, the Dolphins aren't making the playoffs, so I do have one last caveat.
Okay.
If the Dolphins don't make the playoffs, they're going to have around the 17th pick, give or take, after all this week settles, draft a quarterback. It's time for the Dolphins to draft a quarterback. No. Yes, it is. No. Draft a quarterback.
Nope.
Any last words for the Dolphins?
Don't draft a quarterback.
Well, why not? Why not?
Listen,
Dolphin fans that talk to me on X, Chris will tell you, get rid of Tua.
Yeah, they're not going to get rid of Tua. He got the money. He got the contract. Again, the contract, they got the signing bonus. The contract's kicking in this upcoming year. So it's not so much people think, oh, you can just eat that money. It's ain't baseball. So where it's like no real salary cap. You can go ahead and do what you want to do. If you eat the money, you're going to take a hit. You're gonna limit your team. He's a quarterback in his 20s still. He still has a lot of upside. Yes, injury prone, Mr. Glass. I get all that. You just hope for an injury-free season, but drafting a quarterback isn't your solution. You've already tied your future to Tua.
If I may, Johnny, the Tua, Cheetah, Waddle has not panned out after these years. So you're saying for Miami fans, give him another year of this and not draft a quarterback?
Why hasn't it panned out? Because
exactly
injuries. Exactly, because injuries.
The fact that Tua, and I give him credit, he gets rid of the ball quickly because he can't throw a ball of 45 yards to save his life accurately. I mean, we could go there.
So much not the most accurate quarterback in the league last year. Well, somehow he can't throw passes because the dump passes. Not, if you watch Miami games, they're not dump passes. They're a guy. He throws bombs. The Cheetah. Waddle is more of that slot guy coming in there, running the curls, the flats. But still, you're talking about dump passes, that's not Miami's offense. The dump passes go to the running backs and to the tight ends. Everybody else is they're running outs.
Again, we're jumping the gun. We'll have another episode when we talk about the draft and how that goes. But I just wanted to get your take on the Dolphins because, again, I think that after this week they will be out of the playoffs. Moving on to the last team, the team that your boy right here said they would win the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at home, Johnny, taking on the Saints. It's very simple. Win or go home. You win the division, you're in the playoffs. You lose, the Falcons win, they're out. Who's taking this one?
Against the Saints. The Saints have been your nemesis, for the last decade. It's always up to the Saints there. The Saints are always there. It's always something on that. So if the Bucs can still lose and the Falcons lose, and then the Bucs are in, correct?
Yes. The probability of that, I think it's like 8%, but for
both teams to lose,
for us to for that to happen, for us to lose, and then for the Falcons to lose.
I don't know if that the probability is 8%. It has to be higher than that, but still, in this particular game, I'm calling Saints to be the spoiler because that's what the Saints do, and they're beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay,
well then this is the first one that we disagree on, so let's just jump right into it. If I'm right, which is again, the Falcons are expected to win. So if you're saying the Saints are going to lose, you're saying that the Bucs are out of the playoffs?
When we get to the Falcons, then we'll get to the Falcons. Why are you jumping the gun?
The Falcons are expected to win.
I don't give a damn what the Falcons are scared to win. This is not what Johnny says. Johnny can say whatever he wants. You finished saying how we get 80% right here. So I don't give a damn what other pundits say.
That's true.
So right now in this particular game between the Buccaneers and the Saints are the nemesis, Tampa's nemesis. It just, they are. And they're a thorn in your heel. Okay. So we'll see.
Florida Man Sports on all major platforms, folks. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to finish their assignment.
Yes.
At the end of the day, here's where we stand. We're at 9-7. You've got the opportunity to go in as one of the hottest teams into the playoffs. You did what you needed to do last week, as Johnny likes to say. And I got to apologize to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, one of the questions I had this year, and I said it in the first week, is can Baker do this back-to-back? He had a good season last year. Can he do this back-to-back? Because he didn't do it in Cleveland. That was the knock then. And he just comes and has a MVP-like season, even though Johnny doesn't want to admit it. MVP-like season.
Don't throw that word around,
Baker
had a good season,
I expect Mayfield to put a bow on this one at home. Bucs are winning and going into the playoffs.
I've been such a fan. Baker had a good season. I'm not taking anything away from him, but please, let's hold off on the MVP season, bro. Come on.
4,300 yards and 40-plus touchdowns is an okay season, according to Johnny.
I didn't say it was okay. I said he had a good season. It's a good season.
Great Tony the Tiger season.
No. 4,300 is the norm for an elite quarterback, which he is, an elite quarterback. It's not MVP numbers. MVP numbers. It used to be 5,000 was like it's so rare. Now with today's NFL, you want to reach that 5,000 mark there to be the creme de la creme.
Who beat?
But 4,300 is an outstanding season.
Who beat the Eagles?
Outstanding.
Who beat the Commanders?
Outstanding season. But MVP year now.
Moving on to the rest of the games, Johnny Cinco, the last week of football. Let's go. You've got the Browns and the Ravens. The Ravens are at home. The Ravens, of course, just to clear the air here, they have to win, not just because they want to keep that divisional spot in the playoffs, right? They want to get that home game. So who are you taking, Browns, Ravens?
Ravens. All right. The Browns are not even starting. Jameis are starting. They're starting Zappy. The quarterback who couldn't do anything with the Patriots. They're starting him with the Browns. I forgot he's in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, come on, Zappy. I haven't seen that guy win a game in a long time. Ravens need this; they're going to win it.
Not to beat the MVP horse race here, but yes, the Ravens are going to win at home. It would be a loss of biblical proportion, and the MVP season that Lamar Jackson is having. Oh, by the way, he's at 3,955 yards and 39 touchdowns.
Josh Allen,
just like Baker Mayfield.
Josh Allen.
That's all I got to say.
Josh Allen's this year's MVP.
Moving on to the
Saquon should be if he wasn't such a moron, but we'll get to that.
Moving on to the next game on the docket. This is Saturday, so many great games on Saturday. We're now the Steelers and the Bengals, the rest of the teams in that division with the Ravens. So again, long story short, the Bengals have to win, Dolphins have to lose, and Broncos have to lose. The Steelers are wanting to win so that they can supersede the Baltimore Ravens, and that's why they want to win. Steelers, Bengals. Steelers are at home. Who do you got?
Steelers need. The Steelers are lost 3 in a row. They were on a tear doing well. They've lost 3 games in a row. The Steelers, the problem what they've had is they're a good team. They have not been able to beat elite teams. Guess what? That's been the problem with the Bengals. Not just losing to elite teams, they've lost to teams they should have never lost. They should have never lost to the Patriots. How the heck do you do that, Bengals? The Bengals, I would love to see in the playoffs, but they're not going to get it done. It's not going to happen. Steelers win.
So kudos, or I guess a participation trophy would be in order for the Bengals, who know by. I mean, it would be impossible. They would be the first team in NFL history, Johnny, to have the record. They were at one point, I think, 0-4. It was and they were like 1-6. It was some craziness.
Yeah, it was something.
It would be an NFL record if Broncos lost and the Bengals got in and Miami lost. But listen, folks, here's the deal about this game, which is a little tricky. The Steelers are going to know at this point if the Ravens won or not, which they will. In other words, they're not going to have anything to play for, Johnny. Yeah, they want to snap the losing streak, you're right. But if the Ravens win, they locked up the division spot. They're going to get the home game. So if that happens, which we both picked the Ravens, I'm going to take the Bengals to win because they're going to want to wait to see what happens on Sunday and see if Denver can lay an egg. So I'm taking the Bengals.
There's no way in hell Tomlin is going to allow this team to go into the playoffs losing 4 games in a row. They've lost 3 games in a row. They need this win. You need a win to have something going into the playoffs. You can't roll in losing 4 in a row. It's not going to happen, especially not with this coach.
It'll be interesting to see. And now we actually have a couple games that we already disagree on. Let's move on to the last game in the NFC South, Johnny, the Panthers and the Falcons. The Falcons are at home. We've already talked about it. They need to win and get some luck with the Bucs. Who's winning this game, Johnny?
How terrible is this franchise? It's the Falcons. You guys had the opportunity to get the greatest coach that's ever coached in the NFL, and you chose to go, no, we want to go ahead and keep it young, keep it, fresh, keep these guys. He knows how to talk to players. We're not going with the old school. We're not going with the proven winner, the coach that led a team to beat our franchise in the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. We're not going that route. We're not going to do these things. Oh, it's like I'm going to go ahead and give $100 million to an older quarterback who just ruptured his Achilles. And also, I'm going to go ahead and pick up another quarterback on my top 10 pick in the draft here who has multiple injuries, major injuries in college here. We're going to go ahead and do those things. Terrible organization. You don't deserve to make it to the playoffs. I picked you guys to go to the NFC Championship.
I'm glad you said it.
I apologize for that nonsense because the Falcons, you guys are a joke. You should have it kind of sometimes how they have. Sometimes I wish they had the NFL's run like soccer, in terms of when you're a franchise that's so terrible, you get knocked down to the minors, and then another team, the minors, who wins gets promoted. At Atlanta, it's time for you to get demoted.
I'm glad.
Let's move down here.
I'm glad that Falcons lose. I'm glad that you said that because I had a whole dissertation of how I was going to end you. Because in the beginning of the season, how we have all these segments about what teams are going to do, you did say that they were going to go to the NFC Championship game.
Yes.
And I'm like, you are insane. He was drinking the Kool-Aid that everybody was drinking when they wanted to make them, excuse me, sir, you had your moment. They wanted to make them paper champions. And your boy right here, Florida Man Sports, said what? I said, you got a guy coming back from a Achilles injury with a coach who has failed as a head coach, getting a second opportunity on a team that is unproven. I said it almost word for word, and you want to crown them the ahead of time NFC champions, and this guy over there wanted to name them going to the NFC Championship game. So I am very happy to be right about this. And the icing on the cake, I will agree with you on this.
You haven't been right yet.
The icing on the cake, I will agree with you on this, is drafting a guy that you could have had in the second or third round in the first round. That's what's terrible about all this. But you know what you can expect from a terrible organization? You know what you can expect from them? They should have stayed with Kirk Cousins to ride out the season. They should have stayed 100%. With him. And instead, they may not be in this position. And instead, here you are. You deserve what you get. You picked the I'm sorry, I was so heated about that. You picked the Falcons to lose, right?
Oh, Carolina's winning this game.
Carolina's winning the game. I'm taking, with all that said, I'm taking the Falcons to win.
You went through all that, and you're picking the Falcons.
Hear me out. Because
Jesus
the Panthers got hurt with draft picks with the trade before. They want a good draft pick, so I see them playing for draft picks. But to your point, I'm going to stick with the Falcons. But to your point, I would not be surprised. if the Panthers pulled this off.
Well, the thing is that the Panthers did that already. Get the number 1 overall pick, and they bit them in the butt because number 2 was much better. They're not going to make that same mistake by tanking. They're going to get what they get. Okay. And let the chips
I wouldn't be surprised. That's probably the first one I get wrong, and I'll be happy to be wrong.
With the Falcons, I know you're saying with Kirk Cousins, they should have 100% ride out the season with Cousins. That shows how bad this young coach is that doesn't know what the heck he's doing. These are the type of moves that you have to kind of scratch your head. I get it. I was watching the games. I know Cousins was struggling, but that's your best chance. So for me, I'm starting to think that maybe they were tanking, but I'm like, no, it doesn't make any sense. They're still in the mix of it. So they're still right there.
You're tanking for an 18th pick? Not
Exactly.
That,
So you're still right there. At the end of the day, it's kind of like, no, this is what this guy thinks that Penix gives him the best shot to win. But I'm like, Cousins, you did a bad job of coaching. Like ultimately, I know Cousins is a veteran, but you as a coach didn't do anything to help this man to get to that level, get him over the hump. You didn't. You said, we're going to put in the rookie. And when you're that desperate, you're in the playoff hunt, you're one game from it. You gave up. You had the lead in hand. You had the tiebreaker with Tampa, and you guys went ahead and choked it away. And now you have to win, and you need Tampa to lose. And it's unfortunate for me. I see Atlanta obviously losing this one, and I see Tampa losing their game here by default. Tampa goes into the playoffs.
Let's go. Speaking about the team that helped me last week, which was the Commanders. Commanders ended up beating the Falcons last week. The Commanders now take on the Cowboys. The Cowboys are at home. This game has playoff implications, Johnny, because the Commanders and the Packers are battling. They want to try to get that better spot, if you will. And the Cowboys are at home. Who's taking this one?
Come on. Cowboys are losing this game. Commanders are winning this game. It's just crazy to think that what you just referenced there, that I know we'll get to the NFC North, and whether the Packers or Minnesota or the Lions, there's going to be a 14-win wild card team. Like it's just insane to think about. But the Commanders are beating the Cowboys. Cowboys are terrible. They've snuck in a victory here and there, but they're not a good team. Is CeeDee Lamb confirmed he's playing this week? I don't think he is.
No, he's out. He's done.
So he's done. They shut him down for the year.
Yep.
No, your best weapon's gone. They're going to throw it around. No, you're not going to compete. Commanders are a good team.
This is I agreed with everything except to the great part, a great team, because you know how I feel about Commanders.
Good team.
Good team.
That's what
I feel about the Commanders, but Commanders going to win this game. They're starting their guys. They have everything to play for. They want the best position possible in their division. So yes, Commanders are winning this one. Moving on to that other team I was just mentioning, the Packers, Johnny. The Packers are taking on the Bears. Packers are at home. Who's winning this one?
Packers. Packers are a better team. Bears are a dumpster fire. Do yourselves a favor. The Giants fans were so mad last week when the Giants won that game. When you're there and you have, there's a couple guys. We're talking about the draft pick, and we'll have another show talking about, obviously, Ward, the quarterback for Miami, Shadir Sanders, the quarterback out of Colorado, Hunter. You have so many different players. People are what your teams need, but you want to be in that mix. You want a top 3 pick there. And winning these games will knock you out of that top 3 pick. You can easily go from the number 1 overall to like a number 9 or 10 based on just winning this particular week. So Bears are losing. And they're not even going to lose on purpose. They're just the Bears. They're going to lose.
And kind of going back, because we were talking about those divisions, going back to the Cowboys, when they lose to the Commanders, they're going to be 7-10, just for whatever it's worth for you stat keepers. Last time they were 7-10, that was the 2020 season, when they lost 10 or more games, and that was when Dak was also hurt, so go figure there. But yeah, the Packers are winning at home. Packers, again, battling with the Commanders. And you know what? The Packers need a palate cleanser after last week. They lost, I think, by 2 points, so they're going to need this one to go into the playoffs. Packers are going to be 12-5, rocking and rolling. Let's move on to the Texans and the Titans. Johnny Cinco, the Texans have secured their division 9-7. They are not playing for third in the AFC, so they have nothing to play for, essentially. Texans, Titans, who's taking this one?
Still Texans. Titans are one of the biggest disappointments for us here at Florida Man Sports this season. We expected them to be a competing team, a team that got into the playoffs, had good talent on paper. We didn't know what this new coach was going to do, but we knew the style he was bringing. We thought it would mesh well. Obviously, it did not. This is one that we definitely missed this year, and a lot of people missed this year, expecting the Titans to go ahead and really do something with that roster, and they did nothing.
You're picking the Titans to win?
No, the Texans.
The Texans to win?
Yeah, I'm saying the Titans are the biggest disappointment for me.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, no, the Texans, even without really having to play for anything, I don't have any faith in the Titans to pull this off.
So this game, and sorry, I had to do a double take, is because this is, when you look at the schedule, there's a lot of great football this week, last week with all playoff implications. But this game, because the Texans have nothing to play for, this is like an ugly game. Like there's going to be some ugly football that's going to be played. There's no C.J. Stroud. It's all bench players versus what the Titans are trying to do. With that said, I'm going to take the Titans to win. I want to win this week, so I'm taking the Titans to win. It's a coin toss, really. I mean, it's a coin toss. Bench warmers for the Texans versus the Titans at home, essentially. Titans win. Let's go to the Bills and the Patriots, Johnny Cinco. Another team in the Bills that should be resting players with nothing to play for. The Patriots are at home. Do they get their fourth win?
I swear to God, New England, if you win this game, right now, you lose this game, you are guaranteed the number one overall pick. It's a fact. You lose this game, guaranteed number one overall pick. Hey, if you want to trade the pick, you want to mess around, I don't care. I'm fine with whatever you guys choose, but do not blow the number one overall pick for nothing. Mayo's already said, we're going to play. You said all the right things. Yeah. Well, I don't care. We always play the Bills tough. I get it. Your division, I understand all that. You have nothing to gain from this victory. You can't even spoil anything for the Bills. They've already locked it up. Yeah. There's nothing but pride and stupidity. I'm not telling you to lose on purpose. Just play the game. Don't do anything special. Why you're throwing in Drake? You're throwing in Drake May right now. He's going to be the starter. They announced that he's healthy. He's going to start. Okay, get the experience here. You see him start throwing a couple of touchdowns. You go ahead and pull him. You tell him to start walking like you got a pulled ham. I don't care. Patriots are going to lose this game because they have to lose this game to not ruin my offseason, New England. Lose this game. Do what you're supposed to. 3 games. You called them winning 5. You said they're going to win 5. They had 3. It's like, no, 3 is the number there. It's going to be 3. 3 gets you that number one overall pick. You want to go defense? You got the best defense of the Heisman Trophy winner. More than likely, that's what you're going to get. Obviously, you're not going to go after Ward from Miami. You're going to go Shadir Sanders.
You're jumping the gun.
No, but you better lose.
Let him get the pick. Okay. So you're right. Who was it? The Giants. The Giants won last week and basically gave the Patriots the number one position. So I completely agree with you. Like, don't blow it. Let you decide the cards whether you want to trade that pick or not. The money line says Buffalo -3. That's how close they're saying that this game.
I think because they're resting everyone. Because the Bills are resting everyone.
That's what I'm saying. Like in other words, I guess what I'm trying to say is that you would think the money line would be different, because again, you got the Patriots that have something to play for, and the Bills don't. But yet it's still going to be a close.
Dude, I feel it.
It's still going to be a close game. That's what I think is crazy about this.
I feel it in my heart that the Patriots are going to win this game.
Okay,
I feel it. I feel it in my heart.
So give me the Bills. Give me the Bills to win.
You know what?
Give me the Bills to win.
I'm
changing
my pick.
You can't. You locked it in.
I'm changing my pick.
Patriots
can't do changes. Patriots are going to. I just felt it in my heart that they're going to ruin this. They're going to ruin this for all Patriot fans. They're going to find a way, for whatever reason, and be cheery. Like the stupidity of New England right now, they're going to win this game. So change it. The Patriots are beating the Bills. Changing my
People
pick,
who
lock
are
it in.
still listening to Florida Man Sports at this point see that you are just flip-flopping, and there's
we're in the show.
That's very ladylike of you to do that, to change your mind all of a sudden. The thing. A little weird.
I made my pick as a fan, something you do often. You do all your things. I'm a Tampa Bay fan. You do everything else.
Okay.
As a fan, I made my pick like, no, Patriots are losing because that's what I want. I want them to lose. Every Patriot fan wants them to lose.
I got the Bills. You got the Patriots. I'm going to win this week anyway.
I'm angry about it. I'm upset about it because they're gonna win this game. The Patriots are gonna win this game like a bunch of fools.
You picked the Patriots.
Patriots are winning.
Speaking of teams that have already announced that they're not putting their starters out there, Johnny.
Okay.
The Eagles. The Eagles are at home. They're taking on the Giants. Who's winning this one?
Yeah, that's okay. Still, Eagles are going to win this game, but dude, what's the deal with Barkley, bro? I mean, how in the world? I understand this dude is he is selfless. He is a team player to the max. Okay, I get all that, bro. You have the opportunity to be immortalized. 40-year record. You need 106 yards, I believe, to go ahead and beat and get 106 yards. You already sat out like a quarter when you had that 200 rushing yard game. You got out last week early. You got out these games early because you're helping out the team. I get all that. But my God, dude, you go out there, give everything you got for the first half against the Giants. Do something, please. I'm hoping somebody changes this guy's mind and let Barkley be the all-time leading single-season rusher.
The coach also made the call, Johnny. The coach also made the call.
Yeah, I get all that, but he's made it clear. Barkley made it clear that he left it up to the coach. He's down. He's fine, perfectly fine with whatever. Because the issue is that if Barkley plays, then the whole offensive line has to play. All the starters has to play as well. But give the guy the record. That guy got the 2,000 yards. Give it to him. He's 106. He has to earn it. And against a weak rush defense against his former team that treated him like garbage. I thought you were done. You're not the guy you think you are. Oh my God, do it against the Giants, please. Something happen between now and then, and let Barkley become the single season all time rusher here in the NFL. I'm hoping, but the Eagles are winning.
Yeah, I've got. Okay, I'm gonna take the. I'm gonna take the Eagles to win.
Okay.
I just no. I want to know. I'm kind of trying to figure out which route I'm gonna go with this
Okay.
because look, number one, you want him to play because you want him to break the record.
Correct.
And that's why it kind of took me a second. I don't want him to play. I don't for not because of the fact that God forbid you get hurt, right? Then those pundits will be like, "Why did you play that game? Why were those stats so good? Now you ruined the Eagles season." And you don't want Eagles fans saying that. So I'm okay with him sitting down for this game. And you make a really good point about the offensive line, getting everybody a little bit of rest. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's why I really genuinely don't want him to play.
Okay.
When Dickerson had the record, it's been I'm very big on the
16
weeks,
games.
16 games. Okay. So if he breaks it, then you get the other pundits, well, not me, I'm saying other pundits, who are going to say, well, it wasn't 17 games, so it shouldn't count. And this prevents that from happening. I want to give you some quick stats on this, right?
That doesn't matter.
379 carries by Dickerson, 345 by Barkley. So in other words, you got 2,105 rushing yards by Dickerson to 2,005 by Barkley. I'd rather it stay like this, and then you would argue that Barkley did more with less. The average per carry, 5.8, Dickerson, 5.6. So to me, I'd rather it stay at 16 and say, you know what? This guy with the carries, he did more than Dickerson did. And ultimately, if the Eagles win a Super Bowl, he's going to be immortalized. So that's just my take on it. I'm glad that he's not, because I feel like it would have been more negative connotation than it would have otherwise.
I respect it as a bunch of nonsense because O.J. Simpson rushed for 2,000 plus yards in 14 games. And nobody sits here and references that. They think Eric Dixon's a max.
Because it's the record, Donnie. That's why they don't reference it, because this is the record. Of course they're not going to reference it.
I mean, I get it. Historians, if you want to dive into the numbers, you can dissect it. All people care about is like who has the record, who has the most overall in the per season. Well, that's what Eric Dickerson has in 16 games. When Roger Maris beat Babe Ruth with his 61 home runs, he did so in more games. Yes, at the time, the commissioner put an asterisk on that, set up a baseball, moved on, said, no, we're moving it. Still, it is what it is. As sports continue to move on and evolve and grow, nobody's going to focus on, well, he did this in so many games. Only historians or guys like us who want to dissect it.
And they will.
But the everyday sports fan is going to look to Barkley as the single season record holder. And do not take it away from that man. Well, he earned it. He busts his butt. He gets to have the icing on the top by doing it against his former team. Let him have
I get it. The story writes itself. But again, you're not here. You're not playing these games, Johnny, for the games. You're paying them for the playoffs and for winning a ring. So I'm okay with that.
It's only worth it. Here right now. You're right in one regard. This whole thing is 100% worth it, and it's all. You are correct, Philadelphia. If you win the Super Bowl, if you do not get the playoffs, not get to the Super Bowl, if you do not win the Super Bowl, Philadelphia, you just wasted the chance for a man to be immortalized.
Yeah, maybe so. I'll agree with you on that. But again, Philadelphia fans everywhere are agreeing with me. Last thing I'll say on the topic, going to the next game, somebody here, now you're going to know who said it on X. We just went viral on X while we're doing the show, by the way. It says, this will sound weird, but I feel like Barkley not getting the record works better for him. To get the record with more games creates an asterisk. Leaving it like this looks like if Barkley had as many touches, he would have destroyed the record. And that, my friends, looks so much better in the eyes of history. And that's gone viral, folks. Right now, Florida Man Sports, streaming on all major platforms.
That right there would look better only with a Super Bowl ring. If it is without a Super Bowl ring, your franchise, you just cost your player, your franchise player at the moment right now, a chance to be immortalized as the all-time rusher, as an Eagle. It's like Dickerson did it as a Ram, and you see that like, okay, you want certain Peyton Manning, most touchdown passes in the season, did it with the Broncos. So it's important what jersey you have on when you do it, because that's what's known for it. For Barkley to leave the rival, go to the rival there, and the Eagles jersey to be the all-time leading rusher. That's something special, and you guys should take. That's worth taking the risk.
We're beating this to death. Please, again, like, share, subscribe, and give us your opinion on X, who you agree with. At the end of the day, we're saying all this back and forth, Johnny, and the guy ran for 2,000 yards. I say nobody was expecting 2,000 yards, so don't blame the team because they don't need to play him for not playing him. We'll leave it there.
Just blame the complete morons who have this guy on his team.
Oh my God!
And trade him. If you're in your fantasy team and you trade him,
you're about to see a domestic. In here. Moving on to another game.
Who would do that?
Another game where I hate you so much. People have benched their players. The Kansas City Chiefs announced that they are benching everybody because the Broncos are at home. Who's taking this one?
Broncos are going to win this game. I mean, with everything happening right now, even Mahomes is not playing, so the referees, they take a sigh of relief. Like, all right, good. I don't have to go ahead and give someone. They don't have to work as hard, so it's good. So they're going to play the game. There's no reason for Denver to not win this game. It's too bad. I wanted them to lose because if they lose, Cincinnati loses, and I expect Cincinnati to lose because they're playing a better team, and they can't beat better teams. But I need the Denver to lose for Miami to get in, because I do expect Miami to win. But Denver is going to sneak into the playoffs with a win against the AAA team coming out of Kansas City.
Must be nice to be the Chiefs, right? You get that bye week already, so you can afford to do that. And not only that,
thank you, NFL.
And not only that, but you don't want to see the Bengals in the playoffs, right? You don't, Chiefs. You don't want to see freaking Burrow in the playoffs. So yeah, we're benching our guys because we can. So kudos to you for that, I guess, for your record. But look, folks, the last time the Broncos made it to the Super Bowl, Johnny, do you remember when?
With Peyton Manning.
When they won it all, 2015 Super Bowl. That's the last time they made it to the playoffs. I checked it today. The last time they made yes, sir. The last time they made it to the playoffs.
Well, it couldn't have been. It had been the next season because they lost the next season.
No, 2015 when Peyton Manning won Super Bowl against the Panthers.
And then they lost the following season to Seattle.
Let's check tape because they did not go to the playoffs, not according to Wikipedia. So, with that being said,
they lost in the Super Bowl. They got destroyed by Seattle. Seattle's first Super Bowl was against the Broncos.
No, it was not.
Russell Wilson beat.
All right, well, we're going to check this live.
I could be mistaken, but Russell Wilson.
Bottom line.
If I'm not mistaken, Russell Wilson beat Noodle Arm Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl, and then it was done. Obviously, then Seattle goes back to the Super Bowl and lose to the great New England Patriots. But that's, if I'm not mistaken, being the football historian that I am.
Oh yeah, you're pretty mistaken.
Okay.
So while that's loading, the whole point of that, which is
the
still,
Broncos go to the Super Bowl back-to-back years. They won it with Peyton Manning's first year. The next year, they won the following year again. And they lost to Seattle.
Maybe you have it in reverse, but again, we'll figure that out. The point being is this: the last time that they were good in the playoffs, let's agree on that, 2015.
Okay, it's been a while.
Yeah, Bo Nix was 15 years old, so that was the whole point. So it's pretty incredible that the Broncos are going to punch a ticket to the playoffs. Moving on to the second game out of all the games, really. That may not matter too much because the Raiders are playing. It's the Chargers versus the Raiders. Both LA teams have punched playoff cards this year. The Raiders are at home. Who's going to win this one?
Chargers. I mean, I do see the Raiders losing this game on purpose. Not that they need to, but the Chargers are not going to have their full force. They're going to be resting players. But the Raiders need – come on, guys. Just get your top 5 picks. Just move on with it. But all these bad teams, they can't all lose. So that's why it hurts me that I know the Patriots are going to win this game. But the Raiders are going to lose this game against the Chargers because they're going to. I can see the owner making sure, hey, play the game. I know that you want to win, but you don't need to go all out. It's okay. If you see yourself, don't go for it on 4th and 1.
Yeah,
punt the ball.
I think the main thing that we've said here over and over again, and I think stands to reason, is that people know that when we say they're playing for draft picks, you know what that means. So people know that. At the end of the day, the AFC West is carrying 3 AFC teams. Okay, Chargers being one of them. So this is a little complicated, but the Chargers are winning. I'm picking the Chargers. The Chargers have to win because if the Broncos win and the Chargers lose, they're both at 10-7, or that's what the record would be, and then the Denver would actually supersede them.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why this game is important. Chargers are going to win. Moving on back to the NFC, Johnny, where the Seahawks and the Rams. The Rams are at home. Who's taking this one?
This is actually a good game, but this is still some people. The Rams. Seahawks both need this game. There's playoff implications in this game, is it not?
Yes, I didn't know if you wanted me to jump before or after, but for the Rams, if the Rams lose and the Bucks win, they can take that 3rd seed. So yes, the Rams have something to play for. The Seahawks are out.
I have the Rams winning this game still. It's still the Seahawks. Geno had a great year last year. They thought he was going to go ahead and even the year before, but. That new coach, it's not really working out. I don't think it's McDonald. It's just not really working out. One
last caveat I want to throw in there for the Rams. I know you're picking the Rams. We still give you a chance. McVay has already announced
Stafford's sitting this game out
that he's benching people.
Yeah. Garoppolo is actually starting. Garoppolo, which I forgot is even in the NFL. He is starting this game here, but even with Garoppolo in, I have the Rams win this game.
I got the Rams winning this game with
Garoppolo?
me hanging you.
Oh,
jerk.
I don't know. I thought you.
I got the Rams winning this game too with their bench.
Oh, I thought you. I was waiting. I was having
No.
with.
No, I'm with you on that because I don't think McVay is going to allow it. I mean, you got cojones, to say a better word, right? He won a Super Bowl already. Yep. He knows what it takes to win. And he's like, look, I'm going to bench my team. I'm going to rest my players because we're getting ready for the playoffs and we're going to win this game. And that's what I think is going to happen. So I'm taking the Rams too.
Agree.
Let's move on to the 49ers and the Cardinals, a game that has no implications. Purdy's not playing. Josh Dobbs is starting for the Cardinals. For the Niners. I forgot he was playing.
Yeah.
And then James Conner, with the last game of the season, was put in the IR. Who's winning this game?
Who cares? But I guess we have to pick somebody here. I have to go pick the Cardinals. The Cardinals made some flashes. I wasn't expecting an MVP year for Murray. I know you had really high hopes for Murray, but I was expecting a near Pro Bowl caliber season. He needed that, I felt, to really maintain your contract. Why are they going to keep you? Do you see the Cardinals will win this game, by the way? Well, secondary topic here. Is Murray coming back as a quarterback? That's a real – you've had a lot of quarterbacks who are under contract who are impossible to get out of. Murray is not one of them. He signed that contract years ago. Is Murray going to be the starting quarterback for the Cardinals next year?
Well, you kind of took the words out of my mouth because that's really the question here. When you have teams that are not really playing for to your point, that are playing for playoff spots, right? What's going to happen next year? They're kind of already looking forward. And again, to your point, you got 6 seasons with Murray. You've seen enough of him. So I think that they make a change at quarterback. I think it's that time.
That's someone who needs a draft.
Yeah, I think it's going to be time to do that. They've committed to James Conner. That's why he's in the IR, and that's why they paid him that money up front. So they've committed to him. But I think that it is time to move on. For me, I'm going to take the Niners, though, to win this game. And here's why. Lewis, if you're still listening, you finished your season with 7 wins this year in fantasy.
Pathetic.
And so I think the Cardinals are going to do the same. They're going to win 7 games for you. So I'm going to take the Niners to win this game and finish the season at 7-10.
I say I think the Cardinals, where they finish, they're going to be the team that Carolina was years ago. They're going to give up massive amount of draft picks to move up to that 1 or 2 spot to draft a quarterback.
It's possible.
Patriots don't ruin. Trade it. Have it. They don't need Hunter. They're not going to. They're going to go ahead and try to pick up Ward, Shadir Sanders. They're going to try to do something there, match him with Marvin Harrison Jr. My God, let them give you the farm. Let them give you everything. Do not win this final game, New England. Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
We'll talk more about it when we have the draft episodes going forward. But I'm going to tell you early ahead of time, since you want to talk about early. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are better than the top 2 quarterbacks already right now. Like last year, which I was correct on.
That's not a conversation. I'm just saying what the pundits also they see the first 2 quarterbacks of Sanders and Cam Ward. They expect those guys to go
at the top. Absolutely.
The top 2 quarterbacks.
Last game, Johnny Cinco, Florida Man Sports, doing all major platforms, and the last game is a beauty. The Vikings and the Lions playing for that number 1 spot. Sunday Night Football. Who's taking this game?
Well, I know who I'm picking. I know who you're picking. We haven't discussed this at all, but it's the hater extraordinaire. Listen, the Lions, who I picked to win this game, and who I picked to win the Super Bowl in the preseason. My concern, more so than the injuries, you guys have had some injuries. Man, I'm really concerned your coach is going to just ruin any shot of you guys winning the Super Bowl. You can't go for it on 4th down every single time. You can't go for it on 4th down on 30. This isn't Madden, bro. Like, be selective. I understand sometimes if you're on the opponent's 40 or 45 or whatever, and it's 4th and 1 or something like that. You guys don't care. It's 4th and 7 on your own 30. We're going for it. 4th, and it's like, that's going to catch up to you in the playoffs. It's going to do it. And Campbell just doesn't care. And you have, idiotic fans who are going ahead in full support of a guy like this. Oh, that guy got some cojones. No, that's idiotic. You can pick up any Joe Schmo or whatever to go ahead and just constantly go for it on 4th down. Be a little smarter, okay? Smart aggression, Campbell. Smart aggression. But I got to say, Lions will win this game.
Is that even a proper sentence? A little smarter? Be a little smart. Does that make sense the way you said it?
Yeah, whatever.
Look, the Vikings and the Lions. Before you went on your rant, I wanted to remind you that the Lions already beat the Vikings
final rant
at
in the regular
home,
season.
by 2 points. So knowing that the Lions already won a game,
I know.
albeit on the road by
I
2, you're still taking the Lions to win again?
Yes, I'm going because you're a hater, and I know you're going to
So-
go against them. So let's go.
Okay, look, Goff is doing his best Baker Mayfield impression, folks.
Oh my God.
He's doing a really good job trying to play up to Baker Mayfield. And then you got to give it to the
Goff
other,
played in the Super Bowl.
you got to give it to Sam Darnold. He's doing his best Goff impression. So you got, it's going to be a really good game. The Lions are at home. The Lions are going to lose this game, and I'm going to tell you why. Not because I'm a hater, folks. Not because I'm a hater. For 2 reasons. One, I'm going to destroy this guy this week as far as the last game I'm going to win. But number 2, let's be real about something. You got to look at this from what it is. The Vikings 5 weeks ago were struggling. I don't know if you remember that. And we said
they went from a little rut.
yeah. And then now they're cooking on all cylinders versus the team that is in.
Cooking on
Oh, they are. Oh, Sam Darnold is playing some of the best football. He went like the stock market. He's back up.
Yeah, I'm not sure that cooking on all cylinders goes to you use 2 different phrases and mush them together.
Have you listened to any
firing on all cylinders?
Cooking on all cylinders? Have you listened to
Nobody
Florida Man
cooks
Sports?
on cylinders.
I butcher every single. That's my thing. Are you really trying to take away my
All right,
thing?
I'm gonna let you.
I
I'm gonna
literally
let,
do that.
I'm gonna let you cook. Sorry.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
I'm
go
cooking.
ahead. Sorry.
Cooking.
Go ahead.
So, my gut does tell me the Lions, but I'm going to go with the Vikings because ultimately they are the better team right now. They're the better healthy team, and they've got the better coach. I'm always I don't know if you've seen over weeks after weeks, I always tend to go with the better coach. And in this case, I'm taking the Vikings to win on the road, get that bye week.
Okay, I get it. You can say what you want. I understand that. At the end of the day,
I'm a
I
hater.
still pick the Lions are still the best team in the NFL. They're still the best team in the NFL right now. Their coach, I think, is going to be costing them in the playoffs with some of his idiotic play calling. But we'll see. I mean, you'll have fans make every excuse for him and tell you that, no, that decision-making is why we got here. No, those players are why you got there. Players, there has some inventive play calling, a lot of trickery, a lot of different things there, but you can still have that with smart aggression. And it's not smart aggression. It's just aggression. And that will come back to bite you in the playoffs. It's just that's what I'm most concerned with. But they're my pick in the preseason. I'm sticking with them. You're sticking with your pick?
Of course, the Ravens. I got the Ravens and Eagles in the Super Bowl. The Ravens winning out. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Listen, folks, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Florida Man Sports. We do apologize again because it's a little bit late, but it's the holidays. We deserve to have a good time. So sorry for the late video there, but it is exciting that the playoffs are finally here, Johnny. Any last words on our Florida teams, on our fantasy teams? Let's put a bow on the regular season.
No,
Anything else?
Everything with fantasy-wise, obviously fantasy season's over. Unfortunately, we're both out of it. Rough, my guys just didn't show up when I needed them to show up. Chris, I know you traded away the 2 best players in fantasy, and it came back to bite you.
And I made the playoffs.
Won the championship for the guy you traded him to, though. So congratulations, Tito.
When I asked you any last words, I didn't ask you to stab me on the back. It's ridiculous.
But now I'm sticking with my Lions to win it all.
My Lions.
That's
okay.
That's the pick.
I know, but I just don't. I would never say I picked the Ravens, but they're not my Ravens. I'm a Buck, baby. I'm a Buck.
They're your
I picked
pick,
the
though.
Ravens, not my Ravens.
Okay, so anyway, my Lions, my 2024-25 Lions, who I picked. So this year they're my Lions. I picked them. My team that I picked to win the Super Bowl.
Colors. I knew you were.
So my team to win the Super Bowl this year, they're my team. They're not my favorite. Everybody knows who listens to this. I'm the Patriot guy, but they're my team this year. Who to pick? Your team this year were the Ravens. You're sticking with them. I'm
sticking with the Ravens.
Okay, and so they're going to beat your Bucks.
Like I said, this year.
They're going to beat them
this year. Well, the Philadelphia is unfortunately going to beat
Philadelphia.
Philly, because I was thinking divisions. Philadelphia is going to beat the Bucks. Making fun of the Esau kid.
The Philadelphia.
Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. Once again, we are cooking on all cylinders. He's Johnny. I'm Christian. We're out, y'all.
Later.